Hello and welcome back to the Sam Beast YouTube channel. My name is David Foxen. Thank you very much for joining me today. And I want to kind of conclude the series that we've done on the IBM licensing changes with something that we picked up upon when discussing the recent changes that IBM have made with their licensing terms. Now, looking at LinkedIn and looking at the comments to various IBM consultants and experts posting about these changes, the common feeling amongst the general ITAM managers is that they've been blindsided by these licensing changes, that they weren't aware of them, and that IBM have basically made these changes without any kind of publicity or knowledge of it happening. Now, to play devil's advocate to that, and speaking to a number of different IBM licensing experts out there, this technically isn't the case. This has been known about for a good couple of months previously. Sure, it's not been, massively clear on what the changes are going to be and how it's going to impact IBM customers and the end users, but there has been information out there about these changes and potential changes that are coming. This isn't me pointing fingers at ITAM managers out there saying, you need to be aware of all of this, you should be an IBM licensing guru. This is more kind of giving some advice really, and some key people as well that you should be following to keep up to date with IBM licensing news. When I spoke to Niall about the IBM changes, he mentioned that IBM are typically quite good at communicating any licensing changes, any commercial changes, any contract agreement changes as well, and that this time they've just got it wrong, which is fine, if they're normally really good at it, but this time it's not been as smooth as it typically is. Okay, yeah, I can understand the frustration with ITAM managers. So my advice to you would be really focus on that top 90% of your software spend, that top tier one vendors where all of your money's going, all of your ITAM consolidation and license optimization efforts are going in, and really focus on making sure that your fingers are on the pulse for any licensing or contract changes that software vendor may bring out. You can do this by even creating things like Google alerts, so that whenever a news article comes up, you get an automated email to say that IBM have been in the news, here's why. 9 times out of 10, I've got to admit, my Google alerts are just about share price changes, and very rarely does it ever actually have anything to do with ITAM. But, I'd rather have those alerts so that I can pick and choose what I read, what I understand, because sometimes there may actually be some licensing changes that I need to be aware of for my clients. Aside from that, there are some fantastic, and I mean absolute black belt IBM gurus on LinkedIn. It's free to follow them. It's free to be a connection of them. And they regularly post about IBM licensing changes, things that you need to be aware of, etc. So I want to give a shout out that I follow personally for IBM licensing advice, who I know have got the fingers on their pulse, who may find things that my Google alerts about IBM don't show up, and who you should absolutely go out and follow. The first one is Niall Edery, who we had on the channel recently. He's the head of the IBM practice at Livingston. He used to be an IBM auditor. He now defends IBM audits. I mean, he posts regularly on LinkedIn as well about IBM changes. Why, if you had a big IBM estate, why would you not want to follow someone that used to be an auditor that now defends people, that gives you IBM advice? It seemed like a no-brainer to me. Another person who I would highly recommend you follow is Paul Matarazzo. Now, Paul is a senior IBM consultant at Anglepoint. Again, Paul lives and breathes IBM licensing. What he doesn't know about IBM licensing is probably not worth you knowing, to be fair. He's been a great contact for me as well in the past whenever I've had any IBM questions with clients on LinkedIn. And generally, I really like his updates and his comments that he posts about IBM licensing changes, about contracting changes, etc. Again, he's down in the trenches. He's helping customers with IBM. He's got that relationship with IBM as well. Someone that you really need to be following as well. So that's Paul Matarazzo. I will put all of their links in the description box, by the way, so you can go and follow them on LinkedIn too. Thirdly is Piers McDonnell. He is another IBM licensing guru. Again, I mean, he almost posts daily about IBM licensing tips, how you can manage your ILMT, subcapacity, PVUs, RVUs, the cloud stuff that IBM have brought out as well. He's another very, very knowledgeable guy on IBM licensing. He's got a real passion for it too, which is something that I really admire and really love. I mean, you know, each to their own. I couldn't have the same level of passion that he does for IBM, but it's awesome that someone does, so that you can take advantage of that. You can read his updates, and you can also go and ask him questions. And Piers also posts a lot as well in the IBM LinkedIn groups, so I highly recommend that if you're not already connected or follow him, that you go and give Piers a follow right now. And finally, another really good contact that I like to follow and ask IBM stuff to, and that's Thomas O'Leary, aka the God, the founder of Origina, the guys that help provide a lot of support to their customers on IBM licensing, IBM contracts, and general IBM support as well. They've really got their finger on the pulse, Thomas and Origina as well, on any of the licensing changes, contract changes, commercial changes, anything that you need to know about IBM as well. And both their company page and Thomas as well regularly post about IBM licensing or just general IBM news as well, the technology, products, etc. So again, it's free. Follow both the company and Thomas and you will not regret it. In editing this video, I realised that I missed out a key person in my original recording who I'd even made notes to shout out and mention, and somehow completely forgot. Eric, I'm so sorry. But the other person that I would absolutely follow on LinkedIn and follow their company pages is Mr. Eric Chu. He is another IBM guru. Oh my God, this guy, he's just an absolute legend in the IBM space. He does really awesome services as well. ILMT health checks, audits, renewals, licensing, advice, whatever it may be. And he's always posting really useful stuff on LinkedIn too. So I highly recommend that you go and follow him. His link will be in the description box. Follow all these guys that I've mentioned. They are absolute black belt gurus. I would highly recommend it. I get a lot of information from them and they're all really, really friendly. They will reply to your LinkedIn messages if you've got any questions. And who knows, you may even want to use their services to come in and do an ILMT health check or do an internal IBM audit so that, you know, in case IBM come along, or even look at your agreements. Please, please, please connect with them so that in future when IBM do make licensing changes that you are firmly up to date and you also have your finger on the pulse. That pretty much sums up my advice on who to follow for IBM licensing. This is obviously my own opinion and who I've had experiences with before. If I've missed anyone or if you're an IBM guru, please let me know. You know, put a comment in here on LinkedIn, on YouTube, wherever it may be. You know, saying that you're an IBM guru, that you have a passion for IBM licensing, etc. And I'd love to feature you as well on the channel in the future too. In summary, to sum this video up very quickly, follow those 4 people plus the original company page. If I've missed anyone out, please let me know in the comments as well. And yeah, just really use these resources out there to help you keep up to date with the licensing changes. Because I understand you're a really busy ITAM manager. You've got a whole host of different software vendors, licensing metrics, commercial agreements, renewals that need to be managing. So let other people bring that information to you. And the great starting point is by following these black belts, these gurus on LinkedIn. And with that, thank you so much as always for your time. If you've liked this, please leave a like, it really helps. Subscribe as well would be most welcome and most appreciated as well. And if you find this useful, maybe we'll do this for other vendors, you know, not just IBM. There's a whole world of different vendors and gurus out there. Maybe I should be giving more people a shout out, because that's what this is all about, right? It's spreading the love, giving the spotlight on those real experts out there who can help the people that are boots on the ground, that are really doing ITAM on a day-to-day basis, so that hopefully you do feel like, you know, you're not alone. You're not just a one-person team in a big organization with all these pressures. There's a wider network out that you can utilize. And with that kind of preachy parting comment, have a good day, and we'll see you next time here at the Sam Beast YouTube channel.